of you have heard this, and maybe some of you haven't. And as I was driving out here, I said, to get in the mood of what we were going to talk about, what kind of story should I tell? So I still go back to kind of an old thing. It happened to me many, many years ago. After World War II, I was doing a lot of things. I'd go out and make a few bucks, and I started at that time trying to sell and talk my educational program in fishing. I had a chance to, after World War II, I'd have been fed up to here with college teaching. So I decided to quit, and I had a lot of time to fish. But in order to talk to the fishermen, I still had to run out and make a few bucks. And I'd go on the road and I'd talk. And then when I blew all that money on a fisherman, I'd stop. I'd go make some bucks, and I'd come back and blow it again on a fisherman. Well, for 11 years I did that. I must have caught a jillion fish, but it wouldn't listen to me anyway. So, I didn't make any profit until 1957, and I started this a little after World War II. But fortunately, I was able to do a few extra things to make a few bucks so that I could come and talk to fishermen. Now, you say that's being pretty stupid. Well, probably was. But anyway, I was down in the South. I spent 11 years in the South preaching. And I traveled all over the country talking, trying to preach, and I worked myself back up to South Carolina. It was in August, and boy, was it hot. I walked the streets of Orangeburg, South Carolina. Now, the reason I wound up at Orangeburg was because just a short distance away from there was this big reservoir, Sandy Cooper. All of you heard about it. And so I walked the streets till 5 o'clock all day long till the stores started closing, and I hadn't sold the first dime. Not the first. So I went back to my car, and I took all my sales literature. I tore it up and threw it in the waste packers. I said, I've had it. But I'll go fishing. So the next day I went fishing out in Sandy Cooper. I had never seen the lake. I hadn't fished it. I got out there about very early, and I rented a boat and put my motor on it. And I came back. I went out fishing, and I probably got on the lake maybe about 8 o'clock. But anyway, about 10:30, I come on back to the boat dock. And there was a fellow there, and when I got the rented boat, I asked him how fishing was, and he said, I haven't seen a bass in 3 weeks. And when I came back at 11:30, this same fellow was sitting there, and he says, what's wrong? Did you forget something? And I said, no. So I raised up a limited bass. And I thought he was going to, my balls going to pop out. And he said, and I started reading. He said, wait a minute, hey. He said, see that cafe up on the hill? The fisherman up there. Probably up that talking is an 8-mile away of 103 in shade. He said, they're up there drinking beer. So he said, so I said, that's fine. So I just walked up to the house, was a living fish, and walked in, and there's the whole crowd of people in there. And you know, there's a lot of yakking going on. They're all sitting in there drinking beer. And I walked up to the counter, and we got quiet as a mouse. And I held my fish, and I said, I ordered a cup of coffee. Now, the whole time, I was drinking coffee in one hand, I was holding this tray of fish. I didn't say a thing. 10 miles